classe, ricordiamo che a livello juniores femminile c'è già disputata nella giornata del 3 febbraio la Freestyle, è stata vinta da Malin davanti a Evelyn Brunette con un podio tutto norvegese per le ragazze. Qua avevamo preso anche la Canada, quinta dagli Stati Uniti, sesta ancora norvegese, Nora anche.
So here we are after 2 days dedicated to the sprint competition in classic technique. We have again the same technique today, so classic for the longest distance that we have in our schedule, 20 kilometers must start competition that will start at 10 o'clock for the 63 athletes of the women category representing 23 nations. Among them there will be also with number one the athlete that got the bronze medal the day before yesterday at the sprint competition, Mila Grosser under Ansel. We won't have at the start the new world champion in sprint competition, Martin Hudson, and not even the silver medalist Evelyn Brunette. What we here, we have a complete Norwegian podium in the first competition day. So the 20K is the total of the competition, 5 laps. Today we have also one track outlets to focus on. That's the number 13, Margot Roy, the French.
Good morning and welcome back to day 3 of the FIS Junior World Championships here in Bergamo, Schilpario. As you can see, it's the 20-kilometer mass start classic races. The men coming up a little later on. First, it's the women in the under 20 years of age class. Great to see all the future Italian cross-country stars in the stadium. We are just about 6 minutes away from the mass start in this women's field. It goes off 9 o'clock UK, 10 o'clock out here in Italy.
Na rozpędowej. No. Pokaż mu jeszcze natę do kamery, jak to wygląda.
Расстанься с ней, весь мир кричал, вопил.
А я музыку да подвигу. История.
Любишь их, как ты пальцем мази
Покружилась и ушла, как тень. Умереть был ее.
Вчера точно так же тест перемазал.
No, ma i masci rientrano.
Nel cabinato i masci e la pronta.
Sì, vabbè, ma che
per forza ci rientra, che non ti andare in giro con le 5.
Ciao.
on. If you see that guy, let's just ask.
14? Jak wrócimy? Przed spankiem twoim?
No, może być.
No.
Dobra.
Spoko, matko. Hello.
Tjena, tjena.
Hej.
Läget då?
Bra. Perfect. Perfect.
Bueno.
Też chcesz być nagrany jak czopimy?
Czekaj, zamknę. Zawołać tu gościa z kamerą, żeby zobaczyć, czy ten robi?
So a quick look at the start list. Only one of the three medalists from Monday racing, Andresen of Norway in bib number 3. The other two sitting out today's races. We may see them on Friday in the 10-kilometer time trialed freestyle races, and of course we may see them in the relays on Sunday. But look further down the field, there are, I believe, we have 63 starting today. No British athletes in this morning's race, but we do have a couple of guys racing in the junior class, under 20, a little later on for the men. Okay, so about 60 seconds to go before the mass start gets underway. Bib number 4, Laurent of Italy, just missed out in the final on Monday. 7th overall, so the best of the 12 that didn't make it through to the final. Sam Smith in 6th, 5th in the sprints. And in bib number 1, 3rd on Monday, Mille Andresen of Norway. Lurfal of Norway, just 19 years old, comes from Lanke near Trondheim. Best results in the shorter distance races. Quick look at Anna Milerska of Czechia and Margot Triloy in bib number 13, representing France. So a full lineup. Great to see so many in the under 20 category. The gun is about to go. It starts to go silent in the stadium. And off they go, 20 kilometers. It is a 4-kilometer loop. And of course, therefore, they will go around that loop 5 times today. Alison Mackie just going out of view on the right-hand side as we face the athletes. Watch out for Alison, 4th on Monday in the sprints, and definitely a contender for a podium place today. Andresen 3rd, and in 5th place Sam Smith on Monday, so watch out for Sam and Alison. Sam representing the USA, of course, one of the more experienced athletes in this field. you would expect that to be the case with those in the top 10 bib numbers. And you'll recognize this loop. It's exactly the same start as we had in the sprint races yesterday and the day before. And they head around this bend, a little rest downhill, and then that long climb up to the highest point that we saw on Monday. They then will swing round as we watched in the sprint races. Pace slowing down, of course, as they start to make their way and climb up the hill. So Norway 1 and 2, Alison Mackie just in third behind Surby of Norway, bib number 2, and Sam Smith just making a way up to be in with that pack just in case. And it's quite possible at this early stage of the race there is a little break to get ahead. Not expecting the field to stay together, not even for the first 4 kilometers, so it will be strung out by the time we come through the stadium, even for the first time. The difference between the very best near the front in the top, say 30 in this field, and those nearer the back is quite significant for good reason. This is a level where young people from all over the world get to race against some of the best and start to work out what they need to do to feature in FIS sanctioned and supported cross-country ski races. So once again they head down this hill that we saw yesterday, the fastest part of the course in the sprints, but they have a lot further to go. So rather than a fast left-hander, they have this tight, fast right-hand turn under the bridge and start to work their way once again back up the hill and away from the stadium. Not particularly high here in Schilpario. It's around about 1,100 meters, I think. High enough for it to be felt if you've done no preparation altitude at all. But 3 or 4 days of acclimatizing should be enough. So everyone now starting to feel whatever prep they've had going into these races, starting to feel like the air is just as thick as it would be down at sea level. So we can see now a little group. I'm expecting it to be around about 20 or so that will form initially a breakaway group, and it'll start to get strung out by 3-4 kilometers into the race. But there will definitely be a handful, all with reasonably high bib numbers, that will move to the front. Certainly by about halfway time, I'm pretty sure we will have a small-ish pack starting to push the pace. At the moment, it's pretty pedestrian. The 2-3 Norwegians in the top 10. There are 4 Norwegians in bib numbers 1 to 10. 1 Canadian, Alison Mackie, who I've already mentioned. Sam Smith of the USA. 1 Czechian athlete, so that is Anna Milewska in bib number 8. We have Beatrice Laurent of Italy, and 2 Finnish athletes, Olivia Purinen and Silvia Kempi in bib number 7. So Andreasen leading the way. 3 Norwegians up at the front. Alison Mackie and Sam Smith will be quite happy with that, I expect. Neither of them will be tempted, I don't think, unless the pace really slows down, to take the lead. A long way to go. And so Mackie and Smith will probably sit in the pack somewhere around about 4th or 5th for much of the race, so long as the Norwegians don't stretch ahead if they are able to. And both Sam Smith and Alison Mackie proving themselves to be pretty formidable sprinters So a pack staying together until the last kilometre or so will really play into the hands of the North American top two, let's say. Just a little quick look down through the start list at who else is in the field from the USA. Nina Schamberger of the USA in bib number 15. I think I spotted her just a minute ago. Let's see if she's in this pack here. And there she is on the right hand side of our field. So looking good at the moment. Sam Smith, her teammate, up at the front on the left. And obviously we can see in bib number 5 Alison Mackie just in the middle of the pack alongside Mille Grosbe Andresen of Norway in bib number 1. Bib 10 is Lerfal of Norway, and that distinctive Norwegian suit, of course. A couple of places out on this track today where the coaches are permitted to provide support. There will be one particular place, I'm sure we'll see that a little later on, where everyone, I expect, will not stop but slow down to take a drink, and those zones clearly marked to avoid coaches abusing the privilege of being out and being able to provide support to the athletes. Of course, they'll all have spare skis and spare ski poles just in case there's a problem, and those will appear more frequently at the bottom of some of those quick hills that we'll see today. Long climb now. This is the biggest climb, I think, of the loop. Sam looking pretty comfortable alongside Mille of Norway. Mille Andresen third on Monday. So another of the athletes who will be quite happy if the pace stays steady for the whole loop, I suspect, and then able to use that sprint gift that she and Alison and Sammy all have. Those three in the top 10 seeded. So expect them to feature when it comes to the fireworks towards the end of today's race. Already the field being strung out, considerable gaps appearing, and we're only at the furthest end now of the first of 5 loops, 5 times round the 4-kilometre loop. I think, I don't know who that was, but that was someone hitting the deck as they were taking that relatively quick swinging left-hand bend just as it was straightening out again. Who was it? I think, are we getting a replay here? No, we're not. So we're not going to see who that was, but whoever it was, they were in the top 10, and now they are probably down in about 20th place, having lost so much time and momentum at the most strategic part of this course. If you're going to fall anywhere, it ought to be well, really just at the bottom of the hill when you're not moving very quickly, as of course then you lose less time on one of those big hills, all of your momentum that you've gained. So we're down to, what is it, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, I think, athletes. Alison Mackie is in there, Sam Smith is in there. All 3 of the Norwegians in the top 10 start numbers are also in there, I think. I wonder if we can spot Anna Milerska of Czechia. She's in bib number 8. Another steady climb up to that top bend, and we are approaching the stadium, so that bend, that U-turn will be critical if it comes to a sprint finish later on. Andreasen starting to stretch out a little bit. Alison Mackie back in third. I think that's Serby in second.
followed with the great French athlete Margot Bourlan. Let's see what happens. We are at the first phase of our competition. Entering now.
As they come through the stadium, and a lot of staff providing drinks. We're 4 kilometers into the race. It's not so much that people will desperately feel the need for a drink at this stage, but taking on some fluids now will help them to not feel it, or as a result of feeling it, be needing a little hydration in about half an hour's time. So all of the more experienced athletes aware of that and taking the time just to grab a drink as they come through. Alison Mackey in 3rd place. Whole of Norway is in 4th. She's in bib number 9. And I'm just going to refresh my screen so I can confirm who is where. So it's Serby in 2nd, Mackey in 3rd, coming through the stadium. Ingeborg Hole of Norway in 4th, and Lerfall of Norway in 5th. So Mackey, the only one through in the top 5. Sam Smith is in 6th. Margot Trilloy of France in bib number 13 is in 7th, coming through the stadium. Annette Coupat, bib number 26, has moved up several places and is in there, just 3 seconds down on Andreasen as we come through the stadium. So that's the pack starting to form of around about 20 or so, probably 16 coming through the stadium inside the top 11 seconds. Marit Folli of Italy down in 18th. Now the lead pack start to stretch this out once again. So 1 lap of 4,000 meters completed. And we have 4 Norwegians in the top 10. Sammy Smith of the USA, no surprise, in 6th place, looking comfortable. Alison Mackey also there, just in 4th right now. Again, looking very relaxed. Alison, a very good classic skier. Sam Smith now decides just to use this little hill to gain 1 or 2 places and moves up into 3rd place alongside the 3 Norwegians that are currently at the front with, I think it's Lerfall, the other Norwegian, in 4th or 5th position. They come up to the highest point of the sprint course yesterday, you'll remember, and a few tangles actually here. A little look back then from Andreasen just to see who else is there. The Norwegians, with the opportunity of working together as a team, they will know which of them is on the best form and therefore likely to be able to make an early break, or indeed, if that isn't the strategy and the pack stays together, can Mille Grosbe Andreasen get another medal today using that powerful sprint that she has. So 10 athletes now out in front. Once again, a gap opening up. 1 or 2 standing tall as they come down the hill, able to relax, a little snowplow from 1 or 2 as they hit this fast right-hand bend under the bridge and start then swinging wide and start to work their way back up the hill. Little chase group of 3 who have lost touch since the top of the sprint course about 30 seconds ago. 10 athletes now starting to make their way out towards the furthest point on this course. And we'll get another split time in just a minute. So 1 or 2 just changing tracks to get over to the right hand side. 4 Norwegians still in the top 10. You can see at least one of the Swedish athletes in, I think that is Mira Göransson. That could actually be, no, I mistook the Swedish suit for, actually it's a Finnish suit, of course. That is bib number 3, Olivia Purinen. Just 17 years old, Purinen. Qualified 7th quickest in qualification on Monday in the sprint. And ended up 21st in the final. So not an athlete who looks like sprinting at the end would be her favoured strategy. She's coached by Timo Salminen and is part of the sponsored AT ski team up in Finland. Obviously identified as an early age and someone to develop. The AT team deciding she was one of the young Finnish rising stars that they were happy to invest some time and money and coaching into, and I suspect Classic is one of her favourites, and possibly the distance races. Silva Kempi of Finland is bib number 7, but she is currently down in 17th place. Finnish junior champion in the 10-kilometer freestyle just a couple of weeks ago, actually. 15th on Monday in the sprints here. So, 2 French athletes in the top 10, Coupa and Turloy, in bib numbers 13 and 26. Once again, Andresen setting the quickest time past the timing markers for Norway. 3 other Norwegians in the top 10, Lerfal, Surby, and it is Hull, Ingeborg Hull in bib number 9. Alison Mackie still there, Sam Smith still there, and Olivia Puranen makes up the 10 that we currently see on our screen below the drone here. Slightly smaller group now breaking away, 10 athletes, all of them looking reasonably equal in terms of technical ability and tempo. The pace still not particularly quick, at least not for these 10, but this is now the lead pack as they head up the Campolongo climb, as it is known here in Schilpario. It's bib number 1. Once again, Mille Andresen of Norway. Bib number 9 is Ingeborg Hull of Norway. The 2, actually all 4 of the Norwegians setting the pace at the front. We're used to seeing this on the World Cup circuit, but do not rule out the talented North Americans. Alison Mackie and Sam Smith. Sam, very, very experienced, possibly, well, I suspect similar to Alison in terms of World Cup starts. Sam Smith has already done 28 World Cup starts, 5th in the sprint on Monday, 2nd last year actually in the freestyle sprints out in Planica, and 16th in this race last year, the under 20 mass start. That was freestyle back then. Alison Mackie just steps out of the track, deciding she wants a little more space to herself, and we are still at 10 athletes in this lead pack. Mackie gets back into that ski track, probably just testing her kick wax in a different lane. Sometimes the tracks that have been the most skied in can prove to be the least sticky, or your wax works the least. Sam struggling a little perhaps at the back. That could be an indication she's out of the track. Sam running with a sort of a herringbone approach in the softer powdery snow out of the tracks. The upside to that could be that once we see her on the downhills, those skis will be quicker than others who have particularly good kick wax. Heidi Buckler of Australia in bib number 27, and Marit Foley of Italy in 23, just leading that chase group, trying now to close the gap on the first 10. I think we're past the 6,000 meter point. This is one of the French athletes that's made her way up into the top 10, Annette Coupart, just at the back of that group. And let's get a look now at the skis. Well, there's clear variation in the speed of these skis as we start to head down the hill. The field really getting strung out. And that is all to do with the work that the ski technicians have put in to just get the perfect balance between kick under the middle of the ski, the sticky wax that grips the snow as the body weight is placed over a single ski and you kick down hard and back, the timing critical, and then the glide wax at the edges. So we are down to 4 already as we come through the stadium. We head towards the stadium, we'll head back in that direction towards 8,000 meters. 4 athletes who are starting to just thank the guys, the team, who have been up since the crack of dawn this morning preparing skis for today's race. The whole of the course still in the shade. That'll change for the men later on and make it slightly more complex in terms of just nailing and getting the waxing perfect. Nevertheless, conditions reasonably stable for everyone, and given that it's a mass start, completely fair across the board. So we're approaching the stadium for the second time now, and we'll get a split time. This time it'll just be 4 athletes with a little gap, 2-3 seconds I think. Alison Mackey just comes wide. She's spotted Team Canada in the red suit, grabs a drink and spreads some of it on 1 or 2 of the other coaches there. That is part of the risk of doing that job. 2 hands to grab the bottle, and hopefully there's still enough left in it for you to take a swig. It rarely is more than just a gulp. Most of what's in those bottles discarded, and let's get the times as we come through now. So, Andreasen of Norway, Serby of Norway in first and second. Alison Mackey clearly there in third. Then we have 2 French athletes, Annette Coupard and Margot Triller. I think Beatrice Laurent of Italy is one of the athletes that has closed that gap again. Sam Smith just a couple of seconds down and has work to do now. She'll be concerned if her skis are not working so well on the uphills. Finland's Olivia Purinen in bib number 8, in the bib number 3, forgive me, she is down in 8th place. And then the next 2 Norwegians in 9th and 10th, Ingeborg Holl and Elaine Lerfall, just outside the top 10. The first of the Austrians, Heidi Buchler, Celine Rossi of Finland and Sylvia Kempi of Finland are in 12th and 13th. Marit Folli of Italy, the second of the Italians, through in 14th, and making up the top 15. Endres of Germany in 15th place. We're in bib number 30. So now who was that? In bib number 24. That was Anna-Marie Yaklova of Czechia, just sadly hitting the snow as she came around that fast right-hand turn. Once again, for the third time, 3 of 5, the lead pack head up and away out of the stadium. Andreasen looking strong and relaxed. Serby of Norway also, and in third place, doing well at this stage. From Canada, Alison Mackey trains with the Alberta World Cup Academy in Canmore. Already has lots of World Cup experience with the Canadian team. Best result at World Cup level is 31st. Lives in Edmonton in Alberta. Beautiful place to train if you get a chance to head out that way this time of year, particularly up until the end of the season. Just a glorious area for cross-country skiers and other snow sport users alike to train and practice, and of course a lot of leisure skiing too. It isn't all flat out racing and training that we might be used to when we're watching the FIS World Cup Series and the Junior World Championships here in Schilpario, of course. So back up to 5 athletes in the lead pack. I think that's Margaret Trilloy of France. 2 French, I think, in this pack. Alison Mackey of Canada and Andreasen and Serby. The 2 quicker of the 4 Norwegians at this stage. 2 others in the top 10 just dropping back. So it is Coupat and Trilloy, the 2 French athletes, together with Alison Mackey in amongst this pack. Sam Smith just dropping off 2 or 3 seconds back, and if she loses touch with this pack now, she's going to struggle a little. But it looked to me as if her kick wax wasn't working quite so well. As she went up the steeper. I think that's Sam just at the bottom of our screen now in 6th place. Is it? Hard to tell from this height. If she is wearing bib number 6, then we know that it is. A little further back, another one of the Americans taking this corner, looking pretty good. Stays low, keeps the aerodynamic. That is Sam Smith. She's double poling. And that tells me that Sam has got a big problem today. She's in 7th place at the moment, and she's having to adapt to the fact that she is one of the athletes that's, despite being up here towards the lead pack in this little chasing group of 2, Sam just pushes ahead to try and close the gap on bib number 4, Beatrice Laurence of Italy. And if she can just tag onto her tail a little, that will help Sam just to focus on staying, keeping the tempo high, just staying on par as another 5 athletes start to pull away again. This gap may well increase between the top 5 and Beatrice Laurent in bib number 4, Sam in bib number 6, bib number 9 is Ingeborg Hall. Big day for her, this Norwegian, first Junior World Championship start. Clearly lacks international experience. In fact, I think every race, every FIS race Ingeborg has ever done, apart from 2, have been on home snow in Norway. I think she did go over to Estonia for a couple of races last year, and they went well, but she's been a home girl, let's call her that, up until now, which is not a bad thing to do. A lot of pressure once you start to race internationally. You have to be ready for it. Well, 2 athletes who really are ready for it. One is Sam Smith, who's struggling with the kick wax today, for sure. And the other is Alison Mackey, whose skis look very good. She's just alongside the Norwegians heading back down this long hill. Bend round to the left. Now the pack down to 4 again, as one, in fact, I think both of the French athletes just struggling to stay with them. They regroup. And a little bit of extra work having to be put in by Coupat and Trilloy as they rejoin the group. That will cost them. It's encouraging to see, but every time the gap opens and a little bit extra work has to be done to close the gap, that will drain the internal resources which may be required. Will be required for sure later on. Alison Mackey looking supremely good, technically brilliant, very focused, able to look around and take stock of who's there. Looks back to see if the French athletes are still with them. I think Margaret Trilloy, shoulders starting to weave backwards and forwards. That suggests to me that she's having to really focus hard on getting that kick wax to work, and the upper body as a result, the shoulders, the arms, the triceps, the lats, the back muscles, all having to work much harder than they should. There she is, she's struggling, and the head starts to nod. Sadly, I think that's going to be the end of Margaret Trilloy's race. I hope the skis are good on the downhill and she can rest and make up for that. But she comes out of the track, as we saw Sam Smith do earlier on, and runs into the softer snow, changes track and comes behind Alison Mackey. But that is, there's the signs starting to show. Trilloy drops off the pack. We're down to 4. Sam Smith is in about 8th place, having been passed by, I think that's one of the Finnish athletes just coming past her. One of the 2 Finns that may just stay in the top 10. We are down to 3 on one side of the track with out of sight, here she is, Alison Mackey of Canada. Fourth in the sprints on Monday. Can sprint, a little slip from Alison. So we saw this actually in the sprints the other day. Alison starting to appear, to me at least, I don't know, but I'm going to credit her with being one of the athletes who, like the Norwegians, often go a little light on the kickbacks, trying to just hit the limit of what is feasible, and the benefit of that is the skis go well on the downhill. Sam Smith, sorry, of the USA in bib number 6, struggling a little, once again out of the track, and she's going to have to accept that the best she can do today is try and hang on to one of those top 10 places. This is Eline Lerfall of Norway, just 19-year-old in bib number 10. Nice to see finally the sun hits the tracks. We'll see a lot more of that in the men's race coming up a little later on. Norway once again the favourites in that after Monday's race, but watch out for young Isa from Switzerland. He might surprise us all today. Down to 4 in the lead pack. We are heading back towards the stadium once again. Once they go through the stadium, there will be 2 more times around this 4-kilometer track. 20 kilometers in the classic style, always a little slower than the freestyle distance as it was 12 months ago. And a tough race for juniors. Rarely do athletes of this relative inexperience get asked to race any longer than 20 kilometers. And they're free to do so, of course, and some do. Quite a few of these good athletes entering the Lockett marathon races, often seen as a good way of training and clearly an awful lot of fun, especially if you live nearby. So it's Alison Mackey now out front as she heads up towards this high point. They will swing around to the right. Marta Rosenberg, who yesterday's winner, out and out star of Sweden. She'll be racing in this race, I'm sure, tomorrow, and may well be called upon to go and represent Sweden in Falun at the World Cup next week. So good to see them out today supporting their younger colleagues. Marta Rosenberg, world champion sprinter under 23, which really is an extremely high standard. Many of the best in the world are still under 23. Edwin Anger being one of them, leads the second actually in the sprint standings in the World Cup. He's still a junior, could be racing here today, but that is clearly not the strategy for Sweden to bring their big star to these Junior World Championships. Too much pressure on that young man, with Falun coming up in Sweden next week, World Cup 9, and then of course Trondheim just about 3 weeks away, the World Championships in Norway. Edwin Anger, one of the few who could possibly, it is suggested, dare I say it, out sprint Klæbo, but we're gonna have to wait and see. Today it's the under 20 Junior World Championships here in Schilpario. We have a pack of 4 now, managing to break away. Not a huge gap back to the remaining 4. One of those at the back is, I'm pretty sure that's Finland's Silva Kempi in bib number 7. Then we have in 4 Beatrice Laurent of Italy, just missed out on the finals on Monday. Margot Trilloy is one of the 4 representing France, and her colleague, actually Margot, is in 6th place. It's Annette Coupin who is the French athlete in this pack of 4 here. Most people, again, choosing to take a drink as they come through the stadium. My guess is there'll be fewer that do that the next time round. Serby, Anderson, Mackie and Triloy, the best of the four so far. Annette Coupat back in 5th, Beatrice Laurent in 6th for Italy. Sam Smith hanging on to 7th place. My guess is today, if she can stay inside the top 8, that will be a result for her. The equipment sadly letting her down today, and the Team USA will already have taken note of that. And there'll be some frantic activity in the wax hut now as they prepare the skis for the men coming up at 12 o'clock Central European time, 11 o'clock UK. Penultimate time up the biggest hill in the sprints on Monday. Not the highest point on this course, but we saw it was a tough part of the sprint course for many on Monday and of course yesterday in the under 23 class. They round the top of the bend. No tactics at this point particularly necessary. It's 2 Norwegians, Alison Mackie of Canada, and in 3rd place Margot Turloy of France. Down in 5th place, Beatrice Laurent, local girl, will be getting lots of support here out on the track, and the second of the French athletes, Annette Coupat, in bib number 26. So Coupat having a good race, given that 26th on the bib suggests the, it's not strictly speaking the seeding number, but there's a sense based on FIS competition points that these athletes are ranked in. The highest ranked athletes getting the lowest bib numbers, which is why we are seeing bib number 1 and 2, 5 and then 13 Turloy of France and 26 Coupat. They're both having very good days. Beatrice Laurent of Italy back in 6th, wearing bib number 4. Purinen of Finland, some way off the pace now. 15 seconds it was coming through the stadium. Purinen is back in 9th. Lurfall of Norway in 10th. And still 4 Norwegians in the top 10. 2 of them just setting the pace. Once again, the penultimate time up to the highest point on the course, which is where they are heading now. Alison Mackie of Canada in 3rd. Margot Turloy of France in 4th. Back in 5th place for Italy is Beatrice Laurent. She's moved ahead of Annette Coupat, who is now just dropping back down to 6th place. And I think that is Ingeborg Hall in bib number 9 of Norway, just making her way up into 5th. But this, to me, looks like the group where the medals will be handed out, shared out later on, partly because all 4 of them have managed to stay with the pace, mostly set by bib number 1, Mila Andreasen, who's in 2nd place at the moment, but shared a little. Alison Mackie going to the front occasionally. Coupat in 4th right now, coming through in 5th, Beatrice Laurent of Italy, Norway's Hall and Margot Turloy in 7th. And sadly, we've lost Sam Mackie out of the top 8. I hope that doesn't mean that Sam has decided to call it a day and save herself for Friday. The time trial 10-kilometer freestyle races coming up for this group of young under 20-year-old females on Friday, as will be the case for the men. No sign of Sam Smith coming through that 1400-meter checkpoint. I'm just going to see whether my computer here in the commentary booth will update and give me more information on Sam. I hope she's okay. But it's not proving to be a great day for Sam Smith. Well, 1400 meters, Sam came through just, well, it was 1 minute and 10 seconds down. So something has happened for Sam. She's way off the pace now, perhaps accepting that a good result is not going to be possible for her this year in this race. I think she was 16th last year in Planica, Sam Smith, and Andreasen was the only competitor, I think, that is racing today who was ahead of her. She was 14th in Planica a year ago. Currently she's in 3rd place, I think. Well, certainly part of this lead group. One or two of the lower ranked numbers looking like they may just be lapped, and certainly ordinarily, well, in World Cup racing, any lapped athletes are usually then required to step out of the race. I think that will be the case today. And who is this in bib number 61? Let's see if I can find out who that is. That is Sara Berk-Svec of Croatia, who looks like her race is going to come to a premature early conclusion today. Here's Alison Mackey, looking strong in bib number 5, representing Canada. Just behind her is Annette Coupa of France in bib number 26, having a sensational day so far, managing to stay with the Canadian, managing to stay alongside the 2 better Norwegians in today's race. Another one of the Norwegians in bib number 9, just a little further back, Ingeborg Hall, and alongside her in bib number 4, Beatrice Laurent, just losing a little bit of pace, losing touch now, getting lots of encouragement from the Italian support team that are out there in the woods. Bib number 3, Olivia Pernin, also looking like she's struggled with the kick wax today. There will be conversations in the wax hut going on right now. The Finnish athletes preparing, the men's athlete preparing for the race between the best under 20-year-old male athletes in the world, coming up at 12 o'clock in Central European time here in Schilpario. 11 o'clock our time in UK. Here are the lead athletes heading back. Not quite yet towards the stadium, but in that direction. And a little gap opening up again. This is bib number 3, which is, or was it bib number 8? It was Norway at least, maybe 9. Ingeborg Hall possibly. A tiny gap opening now between the best 2 athletes, and our drone not making it easy for me to pick them out. I can tell you it's 1 Norwegian, and I think that is Alison Mackey in 2nd place. So suggested earlier that the kick wax on her skis not solid, possibly just on the limit, which requires an awful lot more technical ability to ski well. One of the benefits though is that once it comes to the downhills, your skis can match the others who have good glide, and you're not hindered by poor glide, the kick wax gripping the snow, and you really don't want it to. So they approach this top bend, and a little bit of effort being demonstrated there to create a gap, and that could be just a little test to see who will go with her. But it's Norway 1 and 2 with Alison Mackey currently in 3rd place. Not a significant enough gap for Alison to worry too much at this stage, as Alison steps out of the track that she's in to come alongside the Norwegians and just goes down into the tuck, which suggests she's confident with her skis. It is Andreasen of Norway in first place. She does take a drink, and Serbi doesn't. Neither does Coupart of France. They have more important things to think about at this stage. Just 4 kilometers, just over 4 kilometers to go as they round the bend. The next time they come round this bend, if they are together, it will be the sprinters who will look to take advantage of the extra gift that they have in these distance races, the ability to increase the speed and kick at the end. Not everyone can do that. We'll find out in a little while whether Serbi and Coupart can. We know Andreasen and Mackie have that ability, but both Andreasen and Mackie slightly, possibly more tired, having raced all day on Monday. They did have yesterday off, so hopefully they're feeling fresh enough. In a way, it's Coupart and Serbi in Coupart in bib number 26 for France, and Serbi in bib 2 for Norway, who we haven't seen them sprinting yet, so hard to say whether they have the ability to stay with the pace as things get really quick at the end of the race today. Alison Mackie now just starting to lose sight of the two Norwegians up at the front. Andreasen pacing well. She's already got a bronze medal from these competitions out here in Schilpario. Alison sees the opportunity and the threat of the two Norwegians making a break and being able to work together on the last 3.5 kilometers of this 20-kilometer classic mass start race, the Under 20 Junior World Championships for 2025, the year before the Olympics. That is significant because we often see those the year before the Olympics who get the medals at the Junior World Championships, justifying their inclusion in the World Cup squad the following year, and another 12 months of training and racing sometimes sees them develop well enough to feature for the Olympic squads for their nations. At the moment, it is Andreasen and Serbi of Norway creating a little bit of gap, making things hard for Canada's Alison Mackie. Annette Coupart a little further off the pace again behind Alison Mackie, and we'll see in a second whether Alison's ski speed, the actual pace of the skis that she's standing on, are going to help her to rejoin the two Norwegians. So far, the skis have worked well. Canada feeling good about the prep they've put in with the equipment. Annette Coupart of France not managing to get back on tabs with Alison as we come down the hill and around this bend. Another of the athletes, the back markers, is going to be passed and is already being told that she has to step aside out of the way of the leaders, and her race is over. At least she is pulled out of the race at the right end of the course, not at the furthest point. I'm sure she'll go and do a decent warm down. And who is this? Someone has had a pretty serious crash, I think, and that is Anna Milirska of Czechia, looking pretty distraught, to be fair. I wonder if that was a hard crash on one of those icy bends approaching the stadium. That's what it looked like to me. So a sad day for Anna. Let's hope she is doing okay. Very upset. She gets some support from one of the Norwegian support team out on course there. A lot of the coaches on that bend ready to supply spare skis or poles should the worst happen. But I think it is all over for Milirska of Czechia. She's clearly had a bit of a knock holding her shoulder. But the fact that she's walking and talking is a good sign. We often say that in first aid training, don't we? If they can get up and move and talk to you, then chances are they're going to be okay. Well, that's good news for Anna Milewska of Czechia. Her race is over, but I'm sure she'll be back on Friday in the time trial freestyle races. 10 kilometers coming up on Friday for the under 20 men and women. Now then, the gap, very significant. Back now to Annette Coupard of France in 4th place. And Coupard starting, I suspect, to accept that with just over 2,000 meters to go before the finish line, the medals are slipping away from her. Alison Mackie, sadly, struggling a little. Lost touch now with the two Norwegians, Andreasen and Serby. Looking like they may end up fighting it out for first place today. Alison some way off the pace, and given what we've seen from her equipment, the kick wax, she'll have to double pole a little more than the Norwegians if the wax is gone. We're back with bib number 3, Olivia Purinen, and I think that was 17, Celine Rossi of Finland. Two Finnish athletes working together, currently inside the top 10, 7th and 8th coming through the stadium. But have I missed one of the splits? I think I have. Let's see where they are now. Purinen in 7th, Margot Trilloy now down in 8th for France. Annette Coupard is still in 4th behind Alison Mackie, and Ingeborg Hall of Norway in 5th. Beatrice Laurent of Italy in 6th place. So here are the leaders. It is two Norwegians out front. The gap back to Alison Mackie now significant enough that she's going to have to now concentrate on maintaining the pace that she's got and hanging on to that bronze medal position in the under 20 Junior World Championships 20 kilometer classic mass start race. Serby and Andreasen. Little look back from Andreasen. We know she can sprint. The race going perfectly to plan for her, and I think Serby is another athlete now who is struggling with the kick waxes. Andreasen starts to pull ahead. The shoulders are rocking for Serby. That could mean that if she has gone too hard in the first part of this last loop, Alison Mackie may just spot that, start to sense a weakness and see the opportunity to pull ahead. She's not going to catch Andreasen, that is for sure, but she will see the gap opening significantly now back to Serby, the second of the two Norwegians in the top 3. And Alison, I think, sensing the opportunity, a little increase in tempo from Alison as she starts to make her way up to the top of this highest point on the course. Not far to go now. They're inside the last kilometre and a half. The sun is on the tracks, and most of the track will be in sunshine later on, apart from when we get into the woods for the men. And the technicians will be quickly testing skis to see whether they have gambled on a particular wax or if they have enough variations to find out now what is working in the sun as these tracks warm up. It is Mila Grosberg Andreasen, third on Monday, who heads towards the stadium with a decent enough gap, a little smile starting to appear on the face of the number 1 Norwegian. She is going to get her second medal of these games. Serby of Norway, a little bit at risk of being caught by Alison Mackie, but if that happens, then it will be a worthy silver from Alison. The gap still looking to me significant enough. I think that is Serby of Norway. I don't know if you spotted it, but I think she's lost the basket off the bottom of her ski pole. Chances are, if that's the case, then she has no one else to blame apart from herself. Let's see, there you go. We spotted that, so she now will have to, I suspect there will be technicians down in the stadium who can hand her a ski pole. The gap is reasonably big. Alison Mackie possibly not aware that an opportunity has presented itself with Serbi's ski pole being broken on one of those blue wooden markers. Little bit of inexperience showing there. We've got one or two Norwegians running in the right direction, and disaster. So we start to see the other nations, and a kind gesture from Germany providing Hannah Serbi with a ski pole. It would be a shame, to be fair, if she lost silver as a result of a silly, let's call it that, silly mistake on the downhill. But the Norwegian coach, actually, to be fair, that was Hannah's fault. The Norwegian coach doing everything he could to that fast part of the course to hand over a ski pole. Back to the front of the race, though. It is Mille Grosbø Andreasen of Norway who's going to come in with a clear win just inside the hour. She's going to be about 57 minutes into the finish. Another 200 meters to go. To add to the joy, the sun is on the track here in the stadium. The smiles are out, and Mille Andreasen of Norway will be able to cruise into the finish with a significant enough gap for her not to need that formidable sprint that we saw from her when she took her first medal of these games. A little punch into the air. She knows she's the champion. 2 medals from 2 races here in Schilpario. Norway once again on top of the podium. Mille smiling as she crosses the line. 57:37, I think it was. 36 for 20 kilometers. And we will now zip back to second place and see what is happening. I suspect Alison Mackie is far enough back behind Hannah Serbi of Norway. The gap is too big, I think. Yep, we're just at the finish line. Alison is going to have to settle for bronze. It's a good result for Canada. She'll be very pleased with a bronze medal from these games already. And Serbi, in her first race of these games, gets a silver medal. A good performance from Annette Coupard of France, who, bib number 26, wasn't favoured to be on the podium and is just outside, inside 30 seconds of the podium. So a great result from Annette Coupard of France. She takes 4th, and we should see it is Beatrice Laurent of Italy who just comes ahead. That was a sprint that we missed into the home straight, and in 4th place with Ingeborg Hall of Norway coming across the line in 6th.
Wow, what a final putt by Beatrice Laurent that in a sprint was able to beat Ingeborg Hall.
Couple more coming around the bend. The last time. Here comes bib number 3, Olivia Purnen of Finland. She is being chased in by Margaret Turloy of France, the second of the French athletes to finish. Purnen comes in 7th. We should see Sam Smith coming in, probably trying to hang on to 10th place. It's not a foregone conclusion, and can't see her yet, but Eline Lerfol of Norway, and Marit Folly of Italy, close to Sam at the 18,000 meter point. I think Sam sadly has been left behind. Here comes bib number 23, Marit Folly of Italy. She's done well to move up into 9th place in the last couple of kilometers from the highest point on the course. Comes across the line in 9th, and it's a sprint finish. The only one we've seen, actually, for 10th place. A fight for 10th place between Finland's Celine Rossi and Norway's Lurfal. Silva Kempi comes in 12th, and there is Sam Smith, who just finishes in 14th place behind Anna Endres of Germany. 27 is Heidi Bücher of Austria. Credible 16th place, 15th it is, forgive me. 12 places higher than her bib number, and that all by itself a good performance. Well, there's our leader today, our winner, Andreasen of Norway. 16th is Clara Hegan of Canada, coming pushing hard, trying to just stay ahead of bib number 12 representing Finland, Apoleto. Clara managing to snatch 17th position. Let's hear from
third place on the sprint. Now you get the gold.
our leader.
How do you feel?
Oh, I have no words. I'm so happy, and I have amazing skis, so yeah, I'm very happy with the race today.
You got 2 gold medals 2 years ago, and now gold again. So big response for you. What do you feel about that?
Oh, I have no words. I'm so happy and finished the junior races and junior championship with a gold on the classic races. Yeah, it was amazing.
Do you aim for a new medal on the last race, 10 kilometer?
Yes, of course. So I will fight for the gold there too.
Kan du si noe på norsk?
Ja, jeg er veldig fornøyd med dagen i dag. Jeg hadde helt sykt bra ski, så nei, jeg må takke alle og alle rundt som står og støtter meg alt, så jeg er veldig fornøyd.
Tusen takk. Mira, third place on the sprint, now you get the gold. What do you
Ha ringraziato i suoi tecnici prima di tutto perché erano molto veloci come mettere una gara in pratico. L'hanno aiutato moltissimo, insomma, nel stato questo questo. Si sente una responsabilità dopo la medaglia che ha vinto l'anno scorso, nello sprint a Pinizza, altre 2, e quest'oggi, insomma, come vede questo suo futuro, insomma, spero ovviamente di andare avanti così, ovviamente punta già da adesso, lo faccio ancora molto a un'altra medaglia, magari d'oro, perché in questi termini determinati sarà. And now we're going on after hearing the voice of the new world champion, Medalist, and confirmed that she is looking forward to other medals, and she's so satisfied with the 2 medals that she got so far, following the other others coming to the finish.
Guardo in 32, ricordiamo la posizione delle italiane, quinta Beatrice Oran, nona Marit Fulli, 19esima Maria Schwitza e 28esima Romina Bachmann. Dunque le italiane comunque non hanno messo pure nelle prime 10 posizioni, per cui il bilancio italiano è sicuramente buono.
One hour and 4 minutes in this moment since the start at 10 o'clock today, and we are welcoming all the athletes to the finish line. And in the traveling 20 kilometers, how challenging, how demanding, how technical this course is, very suitable for a World Championship. And it's big number 43 and number 36 to the finish line. Welcome also to Estelle Dardelay.
Alison, third place to the bronze medal. How do you feel?
I'm super happy about it. This is my first World Juniors podium, and it's taken a couple years to get here, so I'm really proud of my performance today.
You're the first Canadian woman to get a medal on the Junior World Championships since 1989. How do you feel about that?
Oh, it's really, really good feeling. I just hope to inspire all my teammates and girls who will come after me. And yeah, I'm really, really happy to get a bronze medal here today.
Will we see you more on the World Cup this season?
Yes, absolutely. I'll be in following for the rest of P3 and P4 and Trondheim as well for World Championships.
Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Allora, questo invece sullo schermo era il volto della canadese Alison Mackie, che è visibilmente soddisfatta e emozionata per questo suo risultato, lei che è stata ai piedi del podio 2 giorni fa e che oggi è finalmente riuscita ad arrivare sul terzo gradino del podio. Insomma, è stato chiesto la sua emozione per essere la prima canadese dal 1989 a salire sul podio di una promessa guidata giovanile junior, e quindi ovviamente si sente molto orgogliosa di questa responsabilità e si sente molto orgogliosa per tutta la sua nazione. Gli è stato chiesto insomma, se dopo questo risultato spera di ottenere questa posizione in Coppa del Mondo. Lei ci sarà presente alla prossima Coppa del Mondo in quella di Fabio.
Sembrava facevi un po' fatica al primo giro, poi il secondo andavi meglio, poi hai preso il tuo ritmo.
Il nostro
primo giro non bella e poi invece sempre tu meglio, sempre...
No, all'inizio facevo molta fatica.
No, però dopo hai preso... Dopo è che eri sempre sola.
Grande coach. Lì ti voglio.
Dopo ragazzi se vi portate lì...
Carona. Brava Romy. Lì?
Grande, fatti...
Here we are, we have seen the finish line has been reached at 39 out of the 63 athletes that started for this competition. We have seen that some of them have been overlapped, so we can't see them at the finish line because overlapping is not allowed at the end of this 20K. We will have the possibility to celebrate all the athletes that were able to come here after a starting race of 5 laps of 4 kilometers each. We'll have the exact same course that will be used also for the men categories that will start in less than 1 hour at 12 o'clock. And in the meantime, for the most of it, number 45, that's the one of the Czech, Lucy Chova.
Allora, cara Silvia, a proposito dell'intervista della canadese, che tu hai magistralmente tradotto, si parlava con l'intervistatrice che l'ultima medaglia canadese una senior junior era avvenuta nel 1989. La medaglia era stata ottenuta da Marie-Josée Pepin, canadese, che chiuse al secondo posto a 15 km in tecnica libera alla spalle di Stefania del Mondo con la terza posizione per Marie dalla Finlandia. Tra l'altro ancora a proposito di quel mondiale 1989, facendo un bel passo indietro nel tempo, si è disputato il mondiale junior 89 in Norvegia a Banga dal 15 al 19 marzo e la nazione della vincitrice è stata la l'URSS, l'Unione Sovietica, la Norvegia seconda, l'Italia chiuse in terza posizione, il Canada, visto che si parla di Canada, aveva chiuso al nono posto. Tra i nomi importanti dei vincitori con l'edizione, Stefania del Mondo vinse la 15 km in tecnica libera, vinse anche la 5 km in classico, tra l'altro con in terza posizione Olga Danilova, mentre per quanto riguarda i grandi nomi, altre vittorie così importanti non ce n'erano state dal punto di vista proprio dei nomi. La Belmonte è stata quella che poi ha fatto la loro risultato, la più medagliata in assoluto per quanto riguarda gli sport invernali italiani in termini mondiali e olimpici.
Yeah, just some historical hints, let's say, that the Boromir gave us. We have heard that Miss Michael, the interviewers asked her how the emotion is for her. That is the first Canadian to win a medal in a junior world championships since 1981. The last one in that year was Maria Jose Fernandez, Canada, that won a bronze medalist on that year. And it was a very special edition. It was in Norway in 1981 because it was the last victory that Italy had also in a world championships in junior under 23 world championships. She won in 1981, and Maria Gismondi last year, after 35 years, was the first Italian after her to win in a world championships in junior competition. So that's it. That's part of the history and the magic of cross-country skiing. We can see hello also to the other athletes that have just come across the finish line, and 51 athletes so far. We have to know the number of the overlaps, so we will have the possibility to officially say completed our first competition of today, 20 kilometers. It's 11, cut 11 in the
Grazie.
Well, here's how the race unfolded. A large pack left the stadium with a little tangle early on, which caused one or two problems, but at least everyone's able to get going.